Hi everyone that's interested in this sort of thing. I thought I would film a little video of this knife that I got in October because I wanted to share a little bit of knowledge that I've gained since I got it. Also, I bought a tie lock in the summer that arrived in September, and I filmed a video of me uh, unboxing this when it arrived in the mail, and talked about my Chris Reeve Knives collection. And I talked about a knife that I'd ordered in February and I was waiting for, and in the meantime I bought this tie lock, and what I intended to do with it. And I've been waiting for that knife that I ordered in February for quite a while. It's now getting towards the end of November. And I just got the email this week that it's ready, and now it's in the mail as I'm filming this on Saturday, the 23rd of November. So I thought, well, if I'm going to keep anyone that's interested, and maybe no one's interested, but up to date on sort of the evolution of my Chris Reeve Knives collection, I better go back and cover what happened in October. So when I got this tie lock, I was really thrilled with it. It's something that I've admired for a long time and wanted, and when I went to buy one, they had just been discontinued, and I sort of abandoned the idea. But then what with joining a couple of Facebook Chris Reeve Knives groups this spring, and sort of having my lust for owning one reinvigorated, I ended up getting one, and I got a very reasonable price for this one from a well-known collector named Sean. Thanks, Sean. And my intention with this was to use it almost as a gentleman's folder, because it's a it's a discontinued knife, and a bit of an oddity, and it's a very good looking knife if you appreciate this sort of this Art Deco sort of look. And I ended up, I've carried this pretty much every day since I got it, while I'm waiting for the knife that's coming next week, which I intended to be my everyday carry. So this is definitely going to get some wear because I've been carrying it so much. When I got it, the little thumb rollers here, which, the lock rolls open and shut on and actually lock the knife, were tarnished, and just from my thumbs on them all the time, they're getting kind of bright. So what did I do? I ended up buying another one, and I got another great deal for an unused one from Corey. And Corey, a fellow soldier in the United States, and I talked back and forth, and he worked with me to make sure that this got across the border into Canada safely. So this one, of all the Chris Reeve knives I own, this is probably going to be my shelf queen or safe queen, whatever you want to call it. Because I really admire this knife. I really enjoy it. I just love looking at it. I love playing with it, using it, and I know this one's gonna get scuffed and used, and I just want to have a perfect specimen. And so of the four Chris Reeve knives I own now, this will probably be the only one that gets no use. But I want to tell, I don't know why I would want to unbox and show you a knife I already have unboxed in a video I posted in September, but I learned a couple things when I received this knife, and I wanted to share them with the community. So let's get to it. So there's the normal paperwork. And what I discovered, one thing I discovered when I got the paperwork, this knife was made in 2015, and it came in the old style box with the styrofoam sandwich with the cutout that the knife sits in, and it came with a different information card, the old registration card, and even the old birth card. And this one was has a birth date of October 21st, 2015. This has a birth date of exactly 14 months later, December 21st, 2016. One thing I discovered when I was looking at this was that there was a couple of typos on this info card, and I thought, probably nothing to worry about, but they stood out to me because Chris Reeve has the reputation for perfection. So I posted a picture of it to see if anybody else had noticed the same thing on their cards, but I just got a couple of people saying, oh, your knife's not going to be worth more because there's spelling mistakes on the card. And it's like, well, that's not what I was posting it for. I just wanted to know if this was a common error on all the cards they printed, or should I be suspicious of this card? If you notice the word there, it should be THERE, and the word stripping has a space in the middle of it here. So anyway, I will post a photo of that in below the video. But I thought, not a big deal. I mean, this looks like the quality card stock, etc., that I would expect. And unfortunately, this is the first Chris Reeve knife I own that came in this style of box, so I had nothing to compare it to. So then, when I unboxed it, there was the nice, perfect, unused specimen, and this knife, Corey assured me, has never been taken apart, never used. It's only been taken out to be photographed, like it is today. And you can actually notice right away, like, never been used. These rollers, or this little barbell, is tarnished just from age, from oxidation, as opposed to the shiny one that's been used with my thumbs all along. And you can see on the user, which I know Sean carried before he sold it to me, even the titanium lock bar is darker. Hopefully this is focusing. Unfortunately, I cannot see what I'm filming because the camera is above my eye level, so I cannot actually look into a viewfinder. But you might notice that this this sort of blue, the Chris Reeve blue titanium color, is darker, and I think that's just from the way it was used prior to me getting it, as opposed to this one, which is very bright, unused. So hopefully you're seeing that clearly on the camera. Yeah, so this one's gonna be just for show. I don't know why. I guess just because I want a perfect specimen, and every other knife I use them. I don't mind using them, but for some reason this one I look at as a sort of almost like a piece of art. So when I was sort of playing around with them, I noticed a couple of differences between the two of them. I mean, one, and I will post a couple of photos as well, but because I don't know how, with the lighting here today, this afternoon and stuff, how you might be able to see this or not, but the blade on the unused one is shinier. This one has a bit more of a stonewash roughness to it. And then I noticed the main difference, and I don't know if you can pick this up, but I will put it in the photos, but if you look at the grind line here, between the flat at the top of the blade and the hollow grind on the bottom half of the blade, they curve in a different way to meet the grind lead-off point, which is this point right here, where the flat meets the hollow grind at the towards the tip of the barrel. No, sorry, of the blade. So if you look on the 2015 tie lock, it curves up more here as opposed to the 2016, which is a bit straighter. And I thought, that's interesting because of the high degree of tolerances that Chris Reeve uses in their manufacturing. So based on holding these in my hands and comparing them, was like 99.9% sure there's nothing to worry about. But that with the typos on the information card, I thought, you know what, I am going to contact Chris Reeve just to be sure that there's no problem. And here's what I learned. So when I sent them photos, and they'll probably be the photos that I posted for you to see about these, they could not tell. And the tie lock is a knife that has been counterfeited, and it has been counterfeited well, so well that their tie lock expert cannot sometimes discern if it's a counterfeit from a photograph. The thing they asked me to do then was to send them photos of the box and of if I could look for the date stamps inside the handles. Well, this unused tie lock, I did not want to take it apart because Corey told me it's never been taken apart, and I want it to be sort of my perfect shelf specimen. But looking in between the handles, I was able to read the date stamp and take photo of it with zoom, and I was assured that there was nothing to worry about, and that the typos on the card were an error that went out on the cards, especially like the early cards that they put out with this style of box. So I was, like I said, 99.9% sure, and now I have that final 0.01% or 0.1% of assurance that there's nothing to worry about. But why is there a difference? Well, basically, there are variances in production over time, year to year. Things evolve and change. One thing, though, that I discovered that's really interesting is that the handles on the 2015 tie lock are dated C15, so they were manufactured in the third quarter of 2015. Makes sense. But on the unused 2016 tie lock, the handles were actually manufactured in A 2012, so January to March of 2012. So these handles must have been sitting around waiting for a blade for 4 years, which is very interesting to me. But love the knife. Like I said, this one will reside in its box and be taken out for just visual appreciation. But I thought I should share this knowledge with the community just in case anyone else is buying a used one and has concerns about its authenticity, because, as I said, even the Alicia, Chris Reeve, said she showed my initial photos to their tie lock expert, and that tie lock expert could not tell just from looking at the blade and the handles. And I will also just tell you about that curvature on the grind line. I did go online and I found a lot of photos from different knife retailers, and I did find blades of both sort of curvature, grind line curves. So even that, I was quite assured before I contacted Chris Reeve that everything was okay, but I thought I would check, and I think it's something that the community needs to know. So that's tie lock 2 or T2. Terminator 2, I don't know. Anyway, that's my second tie lock. Did not expect to even have one after they were discontinued. I don't know. I didn't even intend to buy... I intend to buy one Chris Reeve knife this year, and that's the one that's coming in the next few days. So these two, didn't expect to have these this year, but I can't tell you how happy I am. And it's going to be interesting to see what I do, or how often I carry this now that I've got a new one, a different knife arriving this week. But I'm sure I'll film another video when that arrives. Anyway, I hope that this information is useful to someone out there in the community, or at least someone finds it interesting. I'm just going to enjoy these until my new one arrives. I'll talk to you in the next video, probably in a week. So long for now.